Do you guys remember when E3 and Comic Con were considered the biggest events of the summer? There's many reasons for why it's failing right now. Apparently, Disney, Marvel, and Lucasfilm are not planning any panels. HBO isn't going either. Neither Sony Pictures and Universal Pictures. And there's many reasons for it. It's because it's not popular. The audience isn't there, so none of these companies understand why they should spend the costs in going to an event where nobody watches them. One of the reasons is that the journalists have become the PR arms of the companies. Like they're just an extension of the marketing arm of the corporations. No one trusts the journalists anymore. The sanitization of the whole thing, like the bringing of ideology into a fandom where you're supposed to be talking about comic books, now you're talking about politics. Unironically, the presidential debates should be held at Comic-Con the way things are going. I remember in Canada, there was at the Calgary Expo, which is not Comic-Con, but it's kind of similar, right? The MRAs went there and they actually started discussing, answering the questions that the feminists at the panels were asking. Because they're like, oh, what would an MRA say about it? And well, I'm an MRA. This is what I would say. They got banned, right? Because they do not want... Like, they want to talk politics, but they don't want to debate, right? Like, it's more like they want to preach their version of politics. Which is very obnoxious. I mean, think about it this way, right? Like, you go to Comic-Con and you see posters with cosplay is not consent. Isn't that fucking offensive? Like, honestly, I don't understand why gamers put up with it or why people who like comics put up with it. Like, imagine going into a minority neighborhood and putting that sign. Do you think the minorities there would put up with it? Probably not. You know why? Because they have self-esteem. Imagine going into a minority neighborhood and saying, just because people have their wallets visible doesn't mean like they give you consent for stealing. They would look at you and be like, why are you racist, bro? Like, did you think that just because I'm a minority I would steal? You know, it's kind of like that. It's a little bit stereotyping, isn't it? Like, I've been warned by the left that stereotyping is not okay, but it's okay when they do it, I guess, right? So when they go to a comic book convention and they say cosplay is not consent, that's perfectly okay in their mind. And you know what's even more funny? Is that there are women that actually grope male cosplayers all the freaking time. Like just ask a male cosplayer that's kind of hot. You know, and the problem is because they will be like, oh, so what if you're a guy who get girl? They have girlfriends, you know, they don't appreciate that. Usually a guy who has a girlfriend, especially if she's there, doesn't like it when other girls grab him by the crotch. And you can go on Reddit and the forums are filled with that and they're laughing at the men, they're discrediting their experience, right? So it's like perfectly fine. Hey, you want to stop people touching others inappropriately? How about you get a video camera? It's a lot more effective than a fucking sign, because I guarantee to you that people know that they're not supposed to touch but do it anyway. What do you do then, huh? Check fucking mate. Jesus Christ, it's like the ridiculousness of it. And of course, you know, the sanitization. Like, you can't joke about this, you can't joke about that. It wasn't at Comic-Con, it was at a cosplay convention where a very talented female cosplayer dressed as Pike, which is a character from League of Legends, and he's a man and he's black. And of course, you know, like, she was kicked out of the event because you're not allowed to do that. Like, unless you have the correct heritage, you're not allowed to dress as something. Best actor for the job, by the way, just not the best cosplayer for the job. Yeah, so like, when you have an ideology that's so full of shit, it's like so easy to debunk. It's like the level of shit from that ideology just pours. Like, the moment the moderation is removed and people are allowed to speak freely, that ideology is laughed out of the room. But because, like, you have the choking hold of the moderators, everyone has to pretend that it's normal. But people don't want to go there anymore. Like, they're fucking bored. There's nothing. And even, you know, like, the video games. Like, what video games are coming out that's even worth going to an E3 convention? Or what comic books are important that it's worth going to Comic-Con? Like, all the comics are dead. Like, Western comics are like, congratulations, you killed them. Drive them right into the fucking ground. If it was a manga convention, then people would have gone. It's a comic book convention. Well, what exactly am I there to see? You don't even know how to draw female characters anymore. That is not, you know, like, I go on Twitter, I make a post saying, hey, you know, like, I would like pretty female characters, like, I would pay $90. They went in rage, like 2.3 million views on that tweet. Foaming at the mouth, like, how dare I? And it's like, okay, well, you know, if you don't want my money, that's fine. And that's what you get. You get E3s that don't happen. You get comic books that don't happen. Again, it's not like one issue. But it's all the things that I mentioned up until now that are adding up. Like, you can feel the contempt that these people have for their customers. Just like legit contempt. And they want your money. But that's the thing. Like, people will not pay to go to a place where others have contempt for them. So the event is dying. It's like no fun allowed. Yeah, it's kind of like if religion got into those hobbies and like everything was now like you can't read a comic book unless you pray to Jesus 5 times, and you need to donate to your local church every time you flip the page. Yeah, eventually like people wouldn't go there, I assume. Like they would get bored with it and the event would die. Because any ideology just being pushed and stuffed down people's throats like this would cause the same thing. And of course, you know, the journalists as well. I'm not going to lie, like there may be even the fact that technology advances and you don't really need to actually go to Comic-Con. You can just watch it from the sanctity of your home, I guess. Assuming there are still people interested in comic books. I don't even know. Like, do people even read them? Like, maybe there's like 1 or 2 titles. Batman usually sells well, I guess. But other than that, like, do people read comic books? Like, everyone reads manga nowadays. Like, why can't you be normal? Why can't you read manga? Why can't you support diversity? Like, manga is actually championing diversity. Because you're championing, you know, not people from Japan, Asian people. It's very diverse. You should read manga. They get so upset when you tell them that, by the way. You know, like the comic book industry who champions diversity and women, and you're like, yeah, well, I do as well. Like, I'm reading this manga, and it's written by a woman, and she's an Asian, and oh my god, like they're foaming at the mouth because they don't have a rebuttal. You know, it's like they want you to reach a certain conclusion. Like, they don't care about their ideology and what they say. They just want you to reach a certain frame of mind. And if you don't reach that frame of mind, but you do follow the road that they set up, they get really upset. So yeah, I don't think like there may even be a comics event next year. There may not be a Comic-Con. Fun fact, because they will say, well, yeah, but like comics are dead as a medium. I'm willing to bet that if Ripa and Ethan Van Sciver and all the others would get together, I know like they have beef between them and shit, but like if they were to get together and have like a Comicsgate event, it would be incredibly popular, right? So you can't tell me that, oh well, comics are dead. No, not really, you know. Especially when you say like comics as a medium, because you do have manga, which is pretty much the same thing. It's actually an inferior product because it doesn't even have colors. So that exists and sells very well. So there's no excuse. But anyway, right? Let me know what you guys think. And I was a little bit tired this video because it's 3 a.m. Just got off of Archcast and I saw this and I wanted to tweet it out. Well, make a video about it. I can't tweet. They took my account. They took my voice chat. They took my voice. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.